Alright, what's up everybody? I am here at Road America in an Xfinity car here. Going to try to lay down a decent lap here, then talk about the line that I am using, share the setup, all that good stuff. I have ran in the 206s with this. My best was a 206 5. I looked at the leaderboard, and I think to be on the leaderboard, you got to be at a 205 flat. I really feel like I have not put my best lap up yet. I feel like this has got a little bit more speed in it than the 206.5. I just got to hit all my marks well. And I don't hit all my marks well on the same lap. I'll hit some turns really well on one lap, and then the others I will completely screw up. So it seems like I don't ever hit them all well on one lap, but I feel like this has got a little more speed in it than what I have got out of it. Let's see if I can get a decent lap up here. I think Road America is kind of a fun course to drive. It's a lot more fun than someplace like, say, Sonoma. This is probably my second favorite road course next to probably Watkins Glen. I think Watkins Glen is a lot of people's favorites because it's a fairly easy one to drive. Haven't hit everything perfect, but I haven't made any major mistakes here. So let's see what the stopwatch has to say. Overdrove that corner a little bit. Yeah, I think maybe I was a little bit more cautious than I should have been. I don't know if this is going to be a great lap. 206.8. Alright, that's within a few tenths. So with that, I'm going to slow down and kind of talk about this. On this track, you're coming up and down the straightaway, you're going into turn one. This is my mark here. At here, I hit the brakes and start downshifting. I shift from third, then I shift to second fairly early. I want to be in second fairly early. With this gearing, you're not going to wheel hop or anything. You can shift to second fairly early. Then you want to get off the brakes, or at least start easing up on the brakes to let the car turn. I try to not swing real wide here. Got a car behind me. I see a lot of people going really wide out here. I don't think that's the best way to go around it. I think that's overshooting the turn. Before I go any further, let me say one road course tip, okay? You've got to think about it in terms of every corner as slow down, then turn the car. The car does not want to turn when you are heavy on the brakes, so you got to think in terms of slowing the car down, then getting it turned. But you get through turn one, you're coming up through here, you're going to upshift to third gear. Then I look at this brake here in the wall and those WeatherTech signs down there. And about halfway in between them is where I want to brake. Okay, and I'm braking fairly hard, not the hardest braking on the track, but fairly hard, and I'm downshifting to second. I want to get clear down here on the rumble strips, let the car roll, and again, by the time I'm turning, I'm off the brakes. I'm going to come out and catch the rumble strips here on the outside if I've hit my mark. You really want to get the car straightened up before you're hard back on the throttle. You can ease back in while you're turning, but be very cautious. It's very easy to spin out here. There's a lot of places it's easy to spin up. This is one of them. When you get the car straightened up, hammer down, run it up through the gears, get it up into fourth gear, you're flying and you're coming up onto probably what is the hardest braking zone that you're going to have here. I'm not sure if, I think this would be turn 3, and I'm not sure if this is probably as hard or harder than turn 1. The mark I am using is when I hit that 400 mark right there. That's where I am hitting the brakes and I am downshifting to third, or I'm hitting the brakes and shortly after that I'm downshifting. I want to downshift to first gear probably right before I get to this 100 sign, okay? and I don't know that I hit this well. Some people run clear out here on the rumble strips to try to run it wide. I don't know that you need to do that. I think you slow down enough, you can just kind of run a normal line. I do think that you can probably save a little bit of time by cutting the corner here and going through the grass. I don't like to do that. I don't mind getting maybe 2 tires in the grass, or at least getting over here on these little rumble strips, but you're going to try to turn here, and you're again off the throttle and rolling through here. Then you're going so slow and you've got the RPMs down so much, you can be pretty aggressive getting back on the gas. You usually don't spin out very much there. Coming up to here, I am in second gear, and I didn't shift down to first gear for that big tight left-hander. I am still in second gear. Now, I will say when I run this in presets, I think you're up to third gear here. But right before you hit the shadow here for this overpass is where I am on the brakes, not very hard at all, just tapping the brakes. Then you're going to let off the brakes and roll through the corner. You can cut this corner. I don't like cutting the corners. The problem is when you cut the corner, then you're coming back onto the surface and you've got the wheel turned. That doesn't usually work very well. It's very easy to spin out, so I really don't mind or recommend cutting the corners. I don't mind getting 2 tires off the course, but I don't like to get all 4 off of them. But that's how I get through there. Now you're going to come through here. You're going to hit third gear, and you really want to make a wide arc here, and you're just going to have to barely lift off the gas in third gear. You don't brake at all. You just barely lift off the gas. You catch those rumble strips there, these rumble strips on the inside, rumble strips on the outside. You're barely off the throttle at the entry to that, and then you pretty much can get back hard on the throttle and stay in third gear. If you hit it real well, by the time you get down here to hit the brakes, you'll be on the rev limiter. At this turn, and I'm not sure what turn number we're up to here, but you got a 400 sign beside me, you got a 300 sign down there. About halfway in between them, at about 350 is where I like to hit the brakes, and I'm going to downshift to second gear. Then I try to cut this corner really tight. I try to come over here. This is where I usually get at least 2 tires in the grass if I've hit my marks, because it helps me cut this corner tight. And then I am hard on the gas here. Right before you get to this turn, you should upshift to 3. It seems like I can, even though I am feathering the throttle in third gear through this next turn, that seems like I do better than if I have it wide open in second gear. I try to start this turn wide, and I am feathering the throttle in third gear, and I try to start working my way down, and what I'm trying to get to is, and I've probably got the wheel turned about as hard as I can here, when I get up here to these rumble strips, this is where I want to stop feathering the throttle. But here I want to be on the inside, and here is where I want to drop the hammer in third gear, be hard on the gas, and be able to just run it wide open and up from third and into fourth gear coming off here. I feel like I can make up a lot of time right there by being able to get on the throttle earlier by making sure I'm down at the bottom where those rumble strips start. So now you're up in fourth gear, and before I'm at the end of the rumble strips, I want to turn right, lift a little bit, but if I hit it right, I'm not all the way out of the gas, and I don't have to turn the wheel extremely hard. If I have to turn the wheel all the way to the right here, I've overshot the turn or not lifted early enough. I don't downshift here. When I tried it with this gearing, it just didn't seem like it helped me at all. If anything, it slowed me up. So again, I'm not completely out of the throttle. I'm turning not all the way to the right, because if I hit it right, I can just lift a little bit, turn the wheel to the right, get it through here, stay in fourth gear, and keep on trucking down this, I guess you'd call this, I don't know if this is the back straightaway or whatever, this second big long straightaway. Let me let this car go past me. This next turn is critical, and I think this is where a lot of people get in trouble. When I am coming down here, this 400 is my mark. Maybe a hair before it, but I am on the brakes hard. I'm downshifting to third, then somewhere probably between the 200 and 100 sign, I'm downshifting to second. Okay, once I get up here, you have to let off the brakes. It seems like you are going too fast. It seems counterintuitive that you're going to turn so hard right and miss everything because it feels like you're going so fast. You got to get off the brakes to make this turn. You will not make the turn if you are on the brakes. I try to roll through here. A lot of times I'll hit it wide, but as long as I'm not in that sand, I'm not too worried about it. Then this is another one where it's easy to spin out. You got to show some throttle discipline. Be easy back on the throttle. Then come through here from second up to third. This is the next turn is probably the easiest one to spin out on the whole track. When you come up here, when I get the end of these rumble strips, I'm on this side of the track. I let off the gas. Okay. And I'm just downshifting to second. I am not hitting the brake. I am just letting it roll. When you come up here, this is an uphill, and then when you get to the top of the hill, the car's going to want to get light. What you have to do is not get on the throttle until the car is straight and it's over the hump, and don't try to hug this white line. Let the car come out wider here. That'll help keep you from spinning out. Then you can get back on the throttle. I'm sorry, I don't downshift a second. I take that in third gear. I'm sorry. That's a third gear turn. That's third gear all the way. Then I come up here, and this last turn is really critical because you got such a big, long straightaway coming up when you come up through it. And what I am trying to do, and I'll tell you I miss it a lot, is about halfway between this road sign and where that pavement changes is where I want to hit the brakes. I want to downshift a second. I want to let it roll through here. I want to catch the rumble strips here. And then about halfway through this turn, I want to be hard back on the gas and run it from second up through third into fourth gear. And then you're back to the start-finish line. So that is a lap at Road America. Like I said, I ran a 2:06.5 with this, and I feel like I can get under 2:06 this setup. I just haven't hit all my marks right on one lap. So with that being said, let's go take a look at the setup. So with the setup, a lot of this is pretty typical of a road course. I'm really low on the bump and rebound settings. I run the front weight at about 51 to 51.5. The wedge and the left weight are both 50%. The ride heights are really low. I typically do run softer front springs at a lot of road courses, but I usually a lot of times have to run softer rear springs to help the car turn. Or I'm sorry, not to help the car turn. Softer rear springs to keep the car from spinning out. But with Road America, it's a fairly easy course to get around, so I can be a little more aggressive and go a little stiffer on the rear springs. I think the tire pressures are pretty close to the defaults. I have ran a negative 1.8 camber on both tires. I have heard some people that are pretty good at road courses say that they try to run negative 0.8, so you might want to fool around with the camber settings to see if a negative 0.8 helps you out a little bit. The track bars, I am up to a 9 on track bars. A lot of road courses I have to run these really low to keep the car from spinning out. But again, Road America is fairly easy to get around, so I was able to go up on the track bars. The brake bias, I run 90% almost every road course. I feel like that allows me to get the car slowed down with less effort. The tape is only 25%. Might be able to go a little higher. I don't think it was getting real hot when I was running it. And then I think the gearing is extremely important at road courses, and it's not necessarily the fourth gear, the rear end ratio, it's the second and third, and knowing where you want your RPMs to be at different points on the track where you're downshifting and where you're running through the gears. Because at a road course, you really use your transmission to help slow the car down. When you're going into a turn, the downshifting really helps slow the car down, so you don't have to use as much brake. So having those gears set to where they will slow the car down the way you would like it to without causing it to wheel hop is extremely important. And then it's also important to have those gears set so that when you're trying to accelerate off a corner, that you've got the engine RPMs to accelerate and you haven't geared it so high that you're trying to accelerate when you're only at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. So I think gearing, especially setting the second and third gear, is extremely important at road courses. So with that, I will wrap this up. A lot to say, long video for me, but it's a road course. A lot of corners to talk about, not just 4 corners. So thank you guys for watching the video. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the support. I'm over 1,100 subscribers now and getting lots of positive feedback on this stuff. I've actually met some people racing online that have told me they watched the videos and it's helped them, which was a big thrill to me. So glad that it's helping people with their setups and helping people run faster laps. Keep going, keep watching these videos, keep giving me the feedback, keep liking the channels, tell your friends to subscribe. It means a great deal to me. With that, I will tell you appreciate everything, and everybody have a great day, and hope this setup gives you